like this movie. I was probably always gonna like it because Nazi zombie shit is my kind of shit.
That's so
Nazi
fucking
zombie shit is
awesome.
your jam.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
That's awesome.
It's a really solid war film as well. And I love that opening aerial sequence so much. Can you tell me a little bit about conceiving of that? And
Yeah.
it must have been hard as hell to shoot.
Yeah, it was very hard to shoot, and it was a very lengthy, very time-consuming exercise. But for me, it was just about how can I get the audience inside the action? How can I make it subjective? How can I make it first person? How can I make them feel like they're riding shotgun, and with these soldiers? And you know, sometimes I don't really like one-ers because sometimes they're just a bit flashy and they don't really have a purpose other than to look cool. But this for me was about how do I make it subjective for the audience, and so to do that you need to sometimes it's really good to do a longer take, and so it really was born out of that, and once I figured that I wanted to do that, we ended up by building this C-47 and putting on this massive giant hydraulic system called a gimbal, which allowed us to tilt the plane in any direction in 45 degrees. So we had Javan, our lead, playing Boyce, you know, as he's dangling, and we're literally vertical almost, and we're throwing stunt guys down one after another, hurling past him, and you know, there's practical fire that they're literally falling into, and so they're doing not only like a major stunt, but they're also like getting set on fire, and you're like, these guys are insane. Yeah. And you know, Javan sort of scrambles out and tries to, you know, he gets to the door, and finally he's hurled out into this hellfire of like flak and tracer fire, and you know, again, we did that all practically. He's on a rig, and we put in VFX and afterwards. But like, that's him experiencing what it's like to be upside down and then upright again, and upside down and upright again. You know, that's it was a wild ride.
Yeah, I bet. It looks great though.
Yeah,
it looks awesome.
Where's the struggle?
Yeah.
For you get to play, like, we've seen you play villainous before, but this is like you're playing like the meanest Nazi in the movie, which is a pretty special kind of evil.
It's beyond evil.
Yeah.
It is pure. It's the essence of evil, right? I know you always say Jovan, who plays Boyce, is the lead. Totally disagree. I think it's me.
Yeah. Make a good case.
As a true villain.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done a couple of villains. One of the reasons why I like villains is because it's just more fun. I love my job. It's 100% driven on passion. Or else I wouldn't be traveling so much and being away from my family. So it needs to make sense, and it needs to make sense, you know, in every sense of life. But why a Nazi? Why do you want to portray the evil people in the world, in the history of mankind? Because I may only be able to do this once. And I may only be able to do it once where he actually becomes a monster. And I think that's pretty fucked. I think that's pretty awesome. You know, and I wanted to work with Julius. We had a meeting 9 months in advance, and we totally connected. We like the same things. That's not necessarily a good thing. but you know, when you're collaborating, you need different opinions, and you need to struggle. But it was so effortless. And was so organic because he did something that you as an actor appreciate the most. He gave you the freedom to give all, which is the most important thing. And he gave me the self-confidence to give everything I could. And that's why we're so good friends, all of us now. You know, we're like a team. I hope we can make another film again in many, many years with the same crew and cast, because, you know, it was wonderful.
Yeah. You talk about you get to become a literal monster and your face is a situation. So like, what was that to shoot with? Did you have like some kind of green mask on?
Oh no.
No, like the full.
That was 5 hours of makeup every single day. 5 hours of makeup and then a 12-hour workday afterwards. So that was that summer of 2017. No, Julius wants to be. Maybe you should talk about it. I
like to keep everything as practical as possible, and you know that with the special effects makeup included. And for me, I'm a performance director, and I love giving actors the tools to do the best performance. And one of them is making it as real as possible. And they can look in the mirror and see it. I feel like it's gonna give them that extra 10%, 15%. Because if they've just got the dots or the green faces, you said, I mean, they don't know what it's gonna be. And people aren't really scared of a guy in dots or a green face.
Right.
But
No.
it was scary.
We hide it. So when we were doing the reaction shots of the guys seeing it for the first time, the fight with I have a fight with an American soldier at one point, or the reveal, we hid it so no one saw it. So we would get their angle first while I revealed, and that's a funny way of working because that's how it should be. You have to inspire each other, right?
Yeah, that's great. I thought the practical effects looked so good, but I thought for sure that one had to be CGI. That's so awesome that you guys went for it.
I think I have like, I don't know.
It's like there's like a couple of moments where there's negative space, and we couldn't go drilling into his
Right,
real cheek.
yeah.
So we
Even though that's how I work, I'm total method.
But we certainly tried to keep it to a very minimum. I mean, I always like VFX to do the light work, and I like practical stuff to do the heavy lifting.
That's great.
The lip when he gets shot, the lip is like this. That was us testing and testing and testing and testing. How can we have this up here? And it affected my speech so much because we had a long discussion about how does he speak now when he's got no face, and
He just snarls a lot.
yeah, we ended up just doing sounds like, and we had to clarify it in post, most of it, because it didn't make any sense at all. I was just a mumbling German person, you know?
Right. So I have to wrap up with you guys, but it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you.
I love the fact your favorite genre is Nazi zombie films.
I mean,
this film is kind of made for you then.
Yeah, it was awesome.